Hey there, Jeep Divers. Ready for a really fascinating deep dive today? We're going to be exploring how our brains work. Specifically, how we take action both physically and mentally. You ready for
Yeah,
this?
absolutely. It should be a fascinating one.
All right, so get this. This research paper we're diving into today, it's about how we approach goals. And, you're not going to believe this, it all starts with something as simple as moving a computer mouse.
Yeah, it's really interesting how they took something so commonplace
Right?
and use it to I don't know, kind of unpack these bigger ideas about thinking and action, like looking at a tiny detail under a microscope, only to realize it's way more complex than you thought.
That's such a good way to put it. It's like we're zooming in on this like everyday action, moving the mouse. But when you actually stop and think about it,
Mm-hmm.
there are different ways we do it, right?
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes it's like you're on autopilot, just zipping that cursor across the screen.
Effortless.
Exactly. But then other times you're like laser focused, very deliberately moving it to the exact spot you need.
For sure.
And what this paper is saying is that those two ways of moving the mouse, they actually reflect these two fundamental approaches we use for like everything. They call them pull and push.
I like that.
So pull is kind of like, imagine being drawn towards something.
Drawn to it.
Yeah, like a magnet is pulling you towards a goal. And then push is more like, I don't know if this is the right analogy, but almost like hitting a golf ball.
Okay, I see what you're getting at.
Like you're not so much focused on the hole itself.
Right.
You're more focused on the action.
The swing.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. The swing, the force. It's a really interesting way to think about it because it kind of highlights that push actions, they often feel faster, right?
They do. Yeah, it's like they're more automatic because you're not overthinking it.
Exactly. That's almost like a reflex, whereas pull requires more like conscious effort.
Okay, so now the big question is one of these approaches better? Like, should we all be striving for that push mentality?
That's the thing. They're not saying one is inherently better.
Okay.
It's more about recognizing that they're both valuable tools, but for different situations.
It's like having the right tool for the right job.
Exactly. And what's really cool is the paper doesn't just stop at mouse movements.
It doesn't.
Nope. They actually go on to explore how these push and pull concepts could apply to way more complex stuff.
Like what?
I'm talking about things like speaking, writing, even the way we have conversations. Is like they're suggesting this push and pull thing. It's fundamental to how our brains interact with the world around us.
That's kind of blowing my mind right now.
Oh.
I can already see how this could change how I approach things.
Yeah.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's unpack this paper a bit more and see what other gems we can uncover. So they actually give you a little exercise in the paper.
They do.
Yeah, to help you kind of feel the difference between push and pull.
Oh, interesting.
And guess what? It involves our friend, the computer mouse.
Of course. Makes sense.
It's a thought experiment, but you can totally follow along if you want.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. So picture this. You've got 2 points on your screen. Let's just call them point A and point B.
Okay, got it. 2 points, A and B.
Now, first, just move your cursor from A to B. Totally naturally, however you normally do it.
Okay, done. See? Easy.
Right. Now, here's where it gets cool. Do it again. But this time, really try to feel yourself being pulled towards point B.
Pulled towards...
Yeah, like there's an actual magnet there reeling in your cursor.
Okay.
Do you feel that?
Yeah, it's subtle, but yeah, I kind of do. It's like I'm much more aware of every little movement.
That's it. It's almost like you're using more mental energy, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, now let's flip it. This time we're going to try push.
Push, all right.
So completely forget about point B. Just focus on pushing away from point A.
So it's not even about the destination.
Nope. Just that initial push, that impulse to move.
Okay. Okay. I think I'm getting it.
What's that feel like?
It's way, way less effort.
Right.
Yeah. Like almost automatic.
That's exactly what they found in the study. People said push actions felt faster, more, instinctual almost.
Interesting. So it's like our brains, they kind of have both these modes, but push is like the express lane?
Maybe. That's like skipping over all that conscious thought about where you're going.
Okay, that makes sense. And you know what it reminds me of? It's like you see a golfer taking a shot.
Okay, yeah.
They're carefully planning, calculating the angle, the distance.
Right, total pull mode.
Exactly. But then imagine like a fly suddenly buzzes by and you just swat at it without even thinking.
Oh, totally. Pure instinct.
Right. That's push taking over. Like your brain doesn't have time for all that careful aiming. It just reacts.
And the crazy thing is, the researchers are saying this push and pull thing might be going on all the time.
Seriously.
Yeah. Not just with moving the mouse. They're talking about how we speak, how we write, how we make decisions, everything.
Whoa, I mean, if they're right, that's huge.
Right.
Oh,
This is like way beyond just moving a cursor around.
it's like saying our brains have this whole other operating system we never even knew about.
And what if we could learn to use it better? That's wild. It really makes you think about those moments where you're just in the zone. Like everything just flows effortlessly.
It's true, and it's not just limited to those like super creative moments.
Right.
They found that even like athletes experience something similar.
Oh, yeah, totally. Like that in the zone feeling in sports.
Exactly. When their movements just become so fluid, almost automatic, and the researchers think that this might be push at work again.
Makes sense. So it's like instead of overthinking every step, they're just letting their instincts guide them.
Exactly. And by tapping into that push mode, they're able to perform at their peak.
Wow, so this is way bigger than just like how we move a mouse around.
Oh, absolutely.
We're talking about like unlocking new levels of creativity, performance.
Right. And it makes you wonder if we can learn to consciously shift between push and pull,
Yeah.
could we actually like improve our skills in all sorts of areas?
That's a really interesting thought. So for our listeners who are like eager to try this out,
Yeah.
what would you say is like the first step?
Well, I think the most important thing is to just become aware of those push and pull moments in your own life.
Okay.
Like notice when you're being drawn toward a goal and when you're acting more instinctively.
So like paying attention to how it feels.
Exactly.
And then what? What do we do once we're more aware of it?
Well, once you start to recognize those patterns, you can, gently experiment with switching between the two modes. Like, let's say you're feeling stuck on a problem.
Yeah.
Instead of forcing it, maybe try relaxing your grip a little. See where your intuition takes you.
Ah, so like shifting from pull to push.
Exactly. Or, the other way around. If you're feeling scattered, try setting a really clear intention and let yourself be pulled towards it.
So finding that balance is key.
That's it. It's all about finding that balance between push and pull that works for you.
I love it. This has been such an eye-opening deep dive.
It really has. And you know what? This is just scratching the surface.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. There's so much more we could explore about this whole push and pull thing. But I guess that's for another deep dive.
Another time. Well, huge thanks to everyone for joining us on this incredible journey into the human brain. Until next time, deep divers, keep those minds curious.